Hey guys, and welcome back to Base Station DB. So, a quick one before we get into this tournament. So, we only had a small group this time around, a group of 7 of us. So, we decided to just sort of do like a league format. We played each other once, and then we did a top 4 cut after. So, yeah, each player played each other once, so we all got about 6 rounds in each before the top cut. But I'm just going to run you through my deck profile quickly, and then we'll jump into the video. So yeah, if you're familiar with my deck builds at this point, you're familiar with Silver Wolf on 960 free ball. Pretty consistent choice for me at this point. We also have the Wizard Rod on 160 Hexer, which has definitely been the MVP recently. And I do stress that people give this combo a go if they're getting bored of the 960 ball variant, because this has been fantastic in recent weeks. But then the third blade I went with, as I've been a bit unsure on who to run on my team in that third slot. I've been kind of swapping and changing for a while, but my third blade for this week was Nightmare on 360 kick. So we're just hoping that Nightmare can possibly make its way onto the team on a more permanent basis as we continue the hunt to find that third blade for my team. But yeah, anyway guys, we're going to hop straight into the tournament now. So I'll see you on the other side. Right, so into round 1 we have Dan versus Tom here. Buster Dran versus Arrow Wizard in the first battle here. A few heavy hits early on. As the match goes on, the Arrow Wizard has too much stamina for Buster Dran, and Tom takes the 1-0 win. We now have Cobalt Dragoot versus Feather Phoenix. Some big hits early on again here. A few missed hex dashes. But the Cobalt Dragoon wins that one, so Dan takes the point. It's 1-1. Impact Drake versus Chain Incendio now.
2, 1.
And as you can imagine, this battle favours the Chain Incendio the longer it goes on. Although it's heavily tilted, it does manage to squeeze out the win. So Tom is now 2-1 up on the reshuffle. It's now Buster versus Arrow. A rematch from the first round. And just like the first round, the Arrow takes the victory. We now have Dragoon versus the Chain Incendio now. Tom only needs a point, but goes one further and takes the over finish there. We now have Perry versus Frankie. Perry using the Raw Tyranno against the Fox Brush of Frankie here. And Perry's Raw Tyranno sees out the spin win on that one. We now have the Keel Shark versus Rasil.
3, 2, 1.
A big hit or two from Shark there. Sees Drasil into the pocket. Perry only needs a point here. It's now Chain Incendio versus Silver Wolf. A few big hits there, as we look like we're slowly etching into a stamina battle here.
Slow it down, extra suspense. Oh, hello.
Which sees Frankie Silver Wolf take the win as we go towards the reshuffle. We now have Raw Tyranno versus Foxbrush.
2, 1.
And a nice clean extreme finish there from Frankie. Sees her take the victory in the end. Now I have Leslie versus Tom, Sword Drown versus Chain Incendio. A few attacks of Tom's missing out there early on.
1-0 to Tom.
But he does see the victory out with the spin win. We now have Leslie's Phoenix winning against Tom's Arrow Wizard.
3, 2, 1.
A few big hits from Leslie's Phoenix early on. Sends Tom's Arrow Wizard jumping around the stadium. It's now heavily unbalanced there, and Leslie takes the spin win there. We now have Tail Viper versus Phoenix Feather. But Tom's Phoenix Feather gets the over finish. He only needs a point here on the reshuffle. Tom going with the Arrow Wizard, Leslie going with the Sword Drown.
Blade set. 3, 2, 1.
Leslie needs a big win here. Tom just needs a point to get the victory in this one. Which he just about manages there, as Tom wins his first match. Match 2 we have Dan versus Jamie. Dan with the Cobalt Dragoon and Jamie with the Impact Drake here. And the over finish there for Jamie. Season take a 2-0 victory, 2-0 lead, sorry. We now have Dan's Impact Drake versus Jamie's Silver Wolf. Heavy hits there from that Impact Drake, as that Silver Wolf flirts with the Extreme Zone, but Jamie sees out the spin win there. We now have Buster Dram versus Dragoon here. And that Buster Dram jumps out of the pocket there. Can it get the victory? Or else that took all of its might up here. Jamie just needs the point. And his Cobalt Dragoon gets the spin win as Jamie takes the points there. We now have me versus Tom. I'm going with my Night Mail there on 360 kick against his Phoenix Feather. Each was missing a few X dashes there, but I managed to land a heavy hit or two there, which just seems to have taken all of Tom's stamina as I take the 1-0 lead. Now I have my Silver Wolf versus his Chain Incendio. As Tom near enough puts himself in the pocket there, giving me the 3-0 lead now. We now have my Wizard Rod versus his Arrow Wizard. Battle of the Wizards. My Wizard Rod being on Hexa doesn't mean that it's necessarily guaranteed the spin victory. But it just manages to hold out there, and I take the win in that one. We now have Dan versus Frankie, Buster Drown versus Silver Wolf, and a quick collision there sees the Wolf going before the Buster Drown. So the points go to Dan there. We now have Frankie's Drasil versus Dan's Cobalt Dragoon.
3, 2, 1. Contact.
Few heavy hits there. But Dan gets the spin win on Frankie there. We now have Impact Drake versus Foxbrush.
2, 1.
Big early hit there from the Impact Drake before managing to burst the Foxbrush. Dan takes the victory in that one. We now have Perry versus Leslie. I forgot to record half of the match, so it is 2-1 going into this to Perry. My bad. I do this at least once a week, I'm pretty sure. Hopefully 1 week it won't happen. But we have Perry's Chain Incendio against Leslie's Tail Viper. And Leslie gets the overfinish to flip the match on its head and make it 3-2. On the reshuffle here, we have the
3, 2, 1.
chance for Perry to come back here as he manages to get the overfinish there and takes the victory. We now have Jamie versus Frankie, Impact Drake versus Silverwolf. As we speed through this one a little bit, as this one seemed to go on for quite a while, but Frankie picks up the spin win with the Silverwolf there, going into the second blade. Drasil versus, excuse me, Drasil versus Jamie Silverwolf this time, I believe. A lot of Silverwolf still floating around, as that Silverwolf gets knocked into the pocket, but manages to come back out. But Frankie's Drasil does the job there. She takes this 2-point cushion. Got the Fox Brush now, who also manages to escape the pocket there against the Cobalt Dragoon. But it doesn't seem to be able to escape the stamina loss as Jamie pulls a point back here. Reshuffle now. And Frankie goes with the Silverwolf, Jamie going with the Cobalt Dragoon.
3, 2, 1. Contact.
You thinking of getting?
I've not really been had time to really look into it, but I like Flame Cerberus.
We'll speed through this one a little bit. It's a bit of a tame battle, this one here. Both bays look like they're about to come to a stop, but Jamie's Cobalt Dragoon just has enough gas in the tank to level the score. It's now Impact Drake versus Foxbrush. Few heavy hits, and the Foxbrush absorbs all of that, and Frankie gets herself in the lead again here. We now have the Silverwolf versus Drasil. That Drasil doing well in the last time these two came up against each other before the reshuffle, but this time doesn't seem to quite have enough as Jamie makes it 3-all. We're on the second reshuffle of the battle here. Cobalt Dragoon versus Foxbrush, and Jamie's Cobalt Dragoon just knocking Frankie's Foxbrush into that pocket as Jamie takes the victory. We now have myself versus Perry, his Raw Tyrone against my Wizard Run. As my Wizard Rod manages to get the cheeky pocket there, as I take a 2-0 lead. It's now Perry with the Keel Shark against my Nightmare.
3, 2, 1.
And a quick 2-pointer for Perry there as he draws level. He now goes with the Chain Incendio against my Silverwolf. It seems like a very tame start to the battle. I guess both of them being stamina types here. But Perry gets that cheeky pocket on me there and takes the victory. We now have Dan versus Leslie.
Yeah. Blade is set. 3, 2,
Dan with the Buster Drone against Leslie's Phoenix Wing. And Leslie makes light work of Dan in the first round there, making it 2-0. It's now the Cobalt Dragoon versus the Tail Viper here. And a lively start to the battle here.
3-0 to Leslie.
And Leslie Leslie gets the spin win with the Tail Viper there. Impact Drake now versus Sword Dram.
3, 2, 1.
Dan hoping to get a big result here as he manages to get the pocket on Dan, and it is now on Leslie. It is now 3-2. My bad. And Leslie gets the over finish there and takes the win. We now have Tom versus Perry. Tyranno Roll versus Feather Phoenix. And a huge pocket stroke burst, whichever comes first. I don't know, that's kind of a chicken or the egg situation looking at that. But either way, it's 2 points to Perry there. And in the second round, he manages to do the same again, getting a huge burst again, making real light work of Tom now, taking the 4-0 victory. We now have Jamie versus Leslie. Impact Drake versus Tail Viper here to start us off. And Jamie takes the 1-0 lead here. Cobalt Dragoon versus Phoenix Wing here. And the Cobalt Dragoon gets the pocket on the Phoenix Wing. Jamie only needs a point to seal the victory here. And he gets the Silver Wolf out against Leslie's Sword Dram for this one. And Leslie's got a lot of catching up to do here, but can he make a start to it here? Few menacing X dashes, but it looks like he's about to run out of steam as Jamie takes the victory. We now have myself versus Dan, my Wizard Rod versus his Buster Drill, I believe. As he manages to pocket me, but Wizard Rod on that 160 ratchet manages to jump out for the second time today and gets the spin win. We now have his Impact Drake versus my Nightmare.
Played a set. 3, 2, 1.
And I managed to get the pocket on his Impact Drake there, so I'm now 3-0 up, going into this last battle with my Silver Wolf here now. But it doesn't seem like it's doing too well here. It was heavily tilted as Dan's Cobalt Dragoon looks like it may just have me here. As we go into the reshuffle now, Dan now has a point on the board. It's Rod versus Dragoon here. A few heavy hits from that Dragoon, but it misses a few X dashes there, which could prove costly there. But it gets the pocket, but yet again it jumps out, and I get the victory. It's now Leslie versus Frankie. Tail Viper versus Silver Wolf, I believe, here, and Leslie gets the pocket on Frankie. 2-0 to Leslie. Frankie did swap out to her 4th blade in this round, bringing in the Dram Brave. So this is the first time I believe we've seen it so far tonight. As it gets the extreme finish though, so maybe that was a good swap out there. We do use 4 blades, we can change them between rounds but not during rounds. Obviously no repeating parts. The Foxbrush here though versus Leslie's Phoenix Wing. And the Phoenix has the stamina in the end. It's 3-all to play for here on the reshuffle. Dram Brave versus Phoenix. Can that Dram Brave get another big result like it did the first time in this battle? Although it doesn't look likely this time round, as Leslie picks up the spin win and the round. Now we have myself versus Jamie. His Impact Drake versus my Nightmare to start things off. And a quick pocket on his Impact Drake, but it jumps out and knocks mine into the pocket. So Jamie calls an ambulance, but not for him though. It's now his Cobalt Dragoon versus my Wizard Rod. As it misses a few X dashes. I'm just hoping I can out-stamina it here, but we all know Cobalt Dragoon seems to like the Wizard Rod matchup quite often, so I was a little bit nervous on this one, especially with how tilted it turned out there. But I did just about manage to squeeze that. Now it's my Silver Wolf versus his Silver Wolf. I think I got a little bit confused with where that's in the rotation we were. But yeah, we've got a mirror match here. I believe his wolf is on Hexa, whereas mine is on free ball. So this does sort of favour me on the stamina side of things. But we'll find out. But yeah, I managed to get the spin win there as I predicted for that one. As we go into the reshuffle, I go for my wolf now against his Cobalt Dragoon. Just hoping I can avoid any big early game hits here, and I was pretty confident on Silver Wolf being able to outspin the Dragoon. But
They're both kind of Jarno.
as that was a pretty dumb decision to think that was the case, as he manages to get the spin win on me there. Now it's my rod against his impact rate. Jamie just needs a point. But the Wizard Rod draws things level for me, and now it's Nightmare versus Silver Wolf. Again, each of us needing a point, but I'll take 3 instead, as Nightmare gets the extreme finish. Now we have Perry versus Dan. Dan going with the Cobalt Dragoon. I believe Perry has gone with the Raw Tyranno here. A few big hits from both blades in this match here, as the Cobalt Dragoon gets heavily tilted there, and Perry takes the first point there. Now Kill Shark versus Impact Drake.
3, 2, 1.
That Impact Drake misses a few X dashes there. That could prove costly on the stamina. Neither of these blades are known for having great stamina, but Perry with the Kill Shot gets the spin win now. It's now 2-0. Chain Incendio versus the Buster Dram there. But yeah, Dan gets the burst. It's now 2 apiece. Raw Tyranno versus Buster Dram
2, 1.
on the reshuffle here. Again, a few early heavy hits, but the Tyranno gets the win there. Just knocked all the gas out of Dan there. Dan with the Cobalt Dragoon against the Chain Incendio now of Perry. Big heavy hits there. As this starts to settle into what I can only describe as another stamina off here, another stamina battle, of which Perry manages to get the best of as he takes the round there. We now have myself versus Frankie, my Nightmare versus her Foxbush.
Let's set. 3, 2, 1.
And big pocket on the Foxbush there gives me a 2-0 lead. Now we go with my Wizard Rod versus Frankie's Dranbrave.
3, 2, 1.
And the rod manages to knock Frankie into the pocket for just a second, but as it jumps out and saves her a point there, and gives her a lifeline in this battle. It's now a Silver Wolf versus Silver Wolf battle now. And this one could go either way. I think the only difference was the ratchets, to be fair. I think hers was on stock, whereas mine's on the 960 ratchet, both of which were on free ball. Well, they seem to be trading tilt here. And mine just about managed to etch out the win, rolling on its side there for a little bit there.
Right.
Now go into Tom versus Jamie. Impact Drake versus Arrow Wizard.
3, 2, 1.
Heavy hits, but that Impact Drake looks like it's out of juice as Tom takes the win there. We now have Chain Incendio versus Silver Wolf.
2, 1.
Trading blows early on here. But Tom gets an extreme finish though and makes light work of Jamie in that round. It's now myself versus Leslie, his Phoenix Wing versus my Wizard Rod.
3, 2,
As my Wizard Rod flirts with the extreme zone there for a second. I thought Leslie was going to have a quick early 3-pointer on me there. But he'll have to settle with a point as he manages to out-stamina my Wizard Rod somehow. We now have Nightmill versus, I believe, his Tail Viper. Yeah, it is, I believe. And my Nightmail manages to knock that Tail Viper into one of those pockets. So it's 2-1 to me. Silver Wolf versus his Sword Dran now.
2, 1.
As Leslie misses a few menacing X dashes, but does manage to park him in the end. He now needs a point on the reshuffle here. My Rod versus his Phoenix.
So, 3, 2, 1.
Very aggressive start for my Wizard Rod there, which wasn't exactly intentional. But it does have enough gas in the tank there to level things up. As we go for my Silver Wolf against his Sword Dran here, next point wins this one. Leslie says, you know what, I want to. And takes the round against me there. Now it's Perry versus Jamie. Jamie with the Cobalt Dragoon. Perry with the Raw Tyranno, as he seems to have gone with first for most of his battles tonight. Got a lot of faith in that day to get him the points he needs. But on this occasion it's Jamie that takes the point. We now have Killshot versus Impact Drake.
3, 2, 1.
Two very aggressive bays, both going at it here, doing the dance. But which one has the most stamina as we come to the end here? It's the Impact Drake of Jamie in the end. It's 2-0 to Jamie. We now have Chain Incendio versus Silver Wolf. As this settles into a stamina battle here. And Perry manages to get the spin win, gets the point on the board. It's now 2-1 on the reshuffle. Raw Tyranno versus Cobalt Dragoon here. Early contact there, quick X dash. And Perry is now 3-2 up. Chain Incendio versus Impact Drake now. And Jamie gets the extreme and takes the victory. It's now Tom versus Frankie in this next round. And Tom going with the Feather Phoenix, Frankie with the Silver Wolf in this first battle. And Tom gets the over finish on Frankie there. It's now Arrow Wizard versus Drasil.
3, 2, 1.
And Tom gets a huge burst on Frankie's Drasil there and takes the victory. Takes the victory, sorry. It makes it 2-2, my bad. But Frankie gets the extreme and takes the victory. Need to wake up a little bit and caffeinate while I'm over here for a second. So that's the score table going into top 4. So myself, Perry, Jamie and Tom made the top cut. So going into top 4 we have Tom versus Perry, which leaves myself versus Jamie in the second top 4 match. And a huge burst from that Raw Tyranno sees Perry take an early 2-0 lead. It's now Kill Shark versus Tom's Chain Incendio, who replies with a burst of his own to make it 2-2 now. Aggressive start to this semi-final. Arrow Wizard now versus Chain Incendio. Can we get a third burst in a row? Absolutely we can. As Tom takes the 2 points there. Going into the reshuffle. It's Arrow Wizard versus Raw Tyranno.
3, 2, 1.
Surely we can't have any more bursts in this battle. We can. And it goes Perry's way. It's now 4 all. Each of them has been a burst so far. Can this be the battle of bursts? Can we get another burst? Let's find out. Nope, but it'll be another 2-pointer for Perry on this occasion. So no dual battles in this semi-final match. All of them have been very aggressive so far. Perry just needs a point now, though. Will he go with a more defensive approach here? And the answer is no. Tom is now just trailing by a point. Arrow Wizard versus Chain Incendio now.
3, 2, 1.
Each of these having pretty decent stamina, so good choice for the pair of them at this late into the battle. But which one will reign supreme?
Neither of you are stable though, you're both like.
Both of them heavily tilted.
And Perry wins.
But Perry's Chain Incendio does the job as he advances to the final. Well, and we now have myself versus Jamie. Here's Cobalt Dragoon versus my Nightmare. Who gets a heavy hit on the Cobalt Dragoon, but manages to pocket himself off of it as Jamie takes a 2-0 lead. He's also switched out to his rod now. He knows he's facing me, so we've got a rod off here. Little sweat kid, eh? But like I mentioned earlier, mine's on Hexa, his is on ball, so I expect his rod to do the job on mine here. Which it does manage to do here. Jamie's now 3-0 up. I really need to pull it back here. It's a wolf off, but opposite to the last match, he's on Hexa, I'm on free ball, so technically I should have the most stamina in this one. But I suppose we'll find out. As mine ends up heavily tilted there. But just has enough steam, giving me my first point in the semi-final. To give me a little bit of confidence that I can revive this battle here. He goes with the Silver Wolf, I believe. As I picked the same. So we got another wolf off. I don't think Jamie was very happy with it. So yeah, I was pretty confident in this one that I could claw another point back in this one. But we can never be too overconfident in Beyblade. As I nearly ended up being too tilted. But again, carbon copy of the last wolf off. I just managed to outspin him literally on my side. It's now his Cobalt Dragoon versus my Nightmare. Missed X dash from my Nightmare there, and it becomes pretty heavily tilted as this looks more and more like Jamie's point here. As he seemingly has extended his lead against me here. It's now 4-2 to Jamie. We've now got another rod off. Obviously my last one didn't go too well. But can I do it this time? Can the 160 hexa beat the 960 ball rod? Even just this one time. As his does look like it's slowing down before mine. But could it? Yeah, my wizard rod just about managed to outspin his. I'm not too sure how, being on hexa to his ball, but it does. But here we go again now. His Cobalt Dragoon versus my Silver Wolf. Of course, Jamie's only extreme finish away from winning this. I still got a bit to do in this battle. But Jamie does manage to extend the lead again, stretching that to a 2-point gap again. And he goes with the Wizard Rod as I go with the Nightmail, as I'm playing catch up here, hoping to get a cheeky little pocket on him. But as this match goes on, it looks like it favours the rod more and more. This Nightmail seems to be running out of steam. Just circling that rod, expending all of its energy. It does manage to tilt it for a second, which made it a little bit interesting. But Jamie took the win there, and it's now 6-3. Here's Wolf versus my rod. Really can't afford to lose even a single point now. But I do have a lot of faith in this Wizard Rod. It has done me pretty well in the last few tournaments. As it manages to squeeze me the point out here as we go into another reshuffle. And I go with the Wolf as he goes with the Cobalt Dragoon.
3, 2, 1.
I've had a mixed look against Cobalt Dragoon with the Silver Wolf, but on this particular occasion, Jamie gets the extreme and makes the final. So the final is set. It's now Jamie versus Perry. And the first phase, Jamie going with the Cobalt Dragoon, Perry going with the Raw Tyranno.
3, 2, 1.
And we have a huge burst early on as Perry takes the 2-0 lead.
This is what you get for beating me now.
And
He's making sure everything's
I believe Perry's going with the keel shot for this one as Jamie picks the Wizard Rod for the second battle.
3, 2, 1.
Early contact and a quick pocket on the Wizard Rod there from Perry. Sees him now 4-0 up. And no reply so far from Jamie. Maybe he should have stepped aside and let me into the final here, but you know, I'll leave that down to you guys, I suppose. We now have his Silver Wolf versus Perry's Chain Incendio, who manages to get the extreme finish and clean sweeps Jamie, as Perry in only his second tournament has managed to win. So congratulations to Perry. And that just about wraps it up for this week, guys. Huge congratulations to Perry on winning his only his second tournament showing. So yeah, congratulations to him. Thank you to everyone again for coming as well. Also, if you're enjoying this content, then please do leave a like, comment, share, all of that sort of stuff, just so I know that you like it, and just for a little bit of encouragement to keep these videos coming for you guys. But yeah, as I say, huge thanks to everyone that showed up and to those that have also taken the time out of their day to watch this video. We should have another tournament up at the same time as this one next week, as we continue our push to keep bringing you weekly content for our tournaments. But yeah, you may get a few extra videos in the upcoming weeks from myself, as I'm planning on doing a little bit of play testing to see who will take this third spot on the team. Will Nightmail stay on it? I don't know. I do love Nightmail. It is my favourite blade on the design, but we'll see. So yeah, stay tuned guys if you're looking forward to content like that. As I say, drop us a subscribe and I will see you next time. Bye bye.